What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full Minecraft movie team, Super Bowser, this one is for you. So 9 years ago, I actually did a Minecraft theme team video, and here we are doing a Minecraft movie team, which kind of recently just come out. Now, personally, myself, I haven't actually watched this before, but I know some of the memes, and I've seen like clips and parts of it, but I don't know, is it a good movie? Is it worth watching? Let me know. I don't really know a lot about Minecraft. I've played it like a few times. Like one time I got blown up by a creeper and it blew my entire house up. And then I fell in lava. I don't know how that happens, but it just did. All right, our first random opponent here. I think that's a Korean name, and we have a Gengar League. So I just used the suggested Pokemon here and built a fun team around it. It wasn't a really powerful team, but I got some actual really good battles here against some, quite competitive teams for sure. So we got a Gengar lead here. Seems to be a typical, just a typical Gengar special attacking sort of set there. Now this Lycanroc, actually this special Lycanroc was perfect to beat these Gengars with. How I built it. So it was max health and max special attack, modest nature. We had Sand Rush as the ability, so I'd have obviously immunity to Sandstorm, and most importantly, it would double my speed. Plus, also, I would get some extra bulk too, as well as Snarl if I was versing a special attacker. So I was easily able to get around Gengar, and they just brought Metagross in for an easy bullet punch feint. So I was happy to get around Gengar. It was also had Hyper Voice, Earth Power, Snarl, and Sandstorm. So pretty fun set. Next one we got here is this Nose Pass. So Nose Pass was this really, really bulky defensive set, which also kind of worked well with my Lycanroc Sandstorm lead there, and it was a Terra Fighting Body Press set. So it also had Sand Tomb on there in case I come across something that, Body Press wasn't all that good in, or something that was very, very tanky. I could set the Sand Tomb up and stall them out a couple of turns there, and maybe then do some damage as well. But I took a lot of damage from this Metagross, obviously, so I thought it'd be a better idea to get that, that set up there. This Nose Pass was Terra Fighting, as I mentioned. It was max defense and max special defense with careful nature, so it was bulky on both sides. Now I had Pain Split on there, so I'd be able to live, attacks well, but I wouldn't have a lot of health left, so Pain Split would work very, very effectively. So I brought on my next Pokemon, which is going to be the Piglins for the movie. Like, one time I attacked a Piglin, and then, like, out of nowhere, all these Piglins, like, just destroyed me. It was in the nether. Yeah, I just got destroyed by, like, all of them. And I picked up its gold, and then I got dropped. But like I said, I didn't really know much about the game, or don't know too much about the game. So the next Pokemon here, that's the end of Emboar, by the way. I'm getting completely destroyed by Metagross right now. So I don't have a lot to hit the Metagross with. I actually went for a second Mountain Gale there and got a flinch. I think they expected to outspeed me, so they finished me off with a bullet punch anyway. That was a sturdy Mountain Gale, Iron Head, Rock Slide, and Rapid Spin flinching set with the Salt Vest. That was max attack and max speed, jolly nature, so it was a speedy set, if you can imagine. So we're going to bring in the Lucario, which of course is Steve. I believe I did Steve in the very first one as Lucario, and Vacuum Wave failed to take it out. Now, if you want to see the original video, I'll leave that pinned in the comment section too. Next Pokemon's going to be Blaziken, and I'm down to Lucario and one other Pokemon here, right? So this is obviously going to be a speed boost. Blaziken going to be very powerful against this team. Like, this team was very weak to fighting types, so when I come across any fighting type Pokemon, a lot of the time it was just an easy win for the opponent, unless I could, somehow outspeed them and get, or feint them and get around them. So that's the end of our Lucario. It was a fully priority set, but I couldn't do a lot of damage there to Blaziken. Last Pokemon is Calyrex, which we've got as Chicken Jockey. I guess is the closest, I think that's when like a chicken, a zombie rides a chicken. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So we got Blaziken go for Protect again. I guess they wanted to see what move I was going to use and get themselves another free speed boost. I used this opportunity to set up the Trick Room. Now, this set had one really good move on it, and the rest were memes, right? So we have got its main move here, Glacial Lance, and then we got Pound and Double Kick. We got Terra Normal Pound only on PewDiePie's channel, so we're going to pound the competition. Now, I couldn't help myself. I thought, I'm going to see if I can come in clutch here. We've only taken 2 Pokemon out. If I go for the Terra Normal Pound, this is going to do some good damage, right, to Blaziken. Blaziken isn't that bulky. Well, at least this one isn't, so I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, I've got nothing to lose here, right? I'm getting absolutely destroyed. So Blaziken goes down like a sack of potatoes, and now that's going to give me a +1 with Chilling Nate, which is awesome. Our next Pokemon here is going to be Blastoise. So I went for Pounding, and like Blastoise has got some decent defense, but it will do a lot. Excellent damage with Pound. Hydro Pump misses, so I can get another attack off. Feint the Blastoise, and that's +2 in attack. I'm so like, I got so much attack right now. Next Pokemon's Dragonite. I can easily take that out with a Glacial Lance, and then they Salty Cancel. They were kicking my butt for the entire battle. The moment I caught up to them, and it looked like I was going to win, they just threw in the towel. Like, come on. Anyway, let's go on to the second battle. If you're enjoying the video, want to support the channel, hit that like button. All right, we got a Glimmer Elite. I've never seen one of them in my life. This is going to be setting up the spikes. So my first Pokemon here, I quite like to lead with this Lightning Rock because it set the sand up, and then I can get my, my ability going, and then it might help out some of my other Pokemon on my team. So I went for Snarl there to drop its special attack, just in case it did have Earth Power, and it's going to use Stealth Rock. So typically that's what it does, right? Stealth Rock isn't so fun for my Avalugg, but that's about it. It wasn't really too much wise. So we're going to finish off the Glimmora with the Earth Power. I did that so many times to Glimmora leads. I never ever expected a ground move, let alone a special ground move, right? So that's good. This is also a random battle. I believe I did like 3 or 4 of these in a row. I had a really, really good run of battles. So in comes Dondozo, a very, very difficult Pokemon to get around, especially with my team, which did lack a lot of initial damage. Some of the other ones, like the Calyrex could build a lot of damage. It was great for that. But initially, Dondozo was a very good wall for that. So I was like, how am I going to get around this? Like, I don't have much, and it's probably got Unaware as well. So it's setting up curses. I'm just going to go for Earth Power. I'm noticing my Earth Power isn't doing, all that bad at damage, right? Considering it's a special Lycanroc, which is trash, right? So I brought in my Emboar. Now, this Emboar, you didn't get to see it too much in the first battle, is a Blunder Policy Emboar, a speedy special set. This actually did very, very well in a lot of battles and took a lot of people by surprise as well. So we do some excellent damage there with the Focus Miss. I'm going to go get fainted, but the recall damage is going to take Dondozo out. So that was pretty much my only answer there because, they would have had rest and stalled and stuff like that. So that's really, really good. Next Pokemon we're going to bring in is the crafting bench. I thought that was definitely a good pick. So in comes Clodsire. Now, Clodsire is very bulky too. But since I was running a physical set and a speedy one, I was able to take out the Clodsire in one shot, which is excellent. So you don't get to take Clodsire out in one shot too often. This was really funny. So next Pokemon is Dragonite. It's a shiny green, so I had to take it out, So I went for Rapid Spin here. I thought, I'm probably going to get dropped here, but I didn't. I actually managed to live due to my, base bulk there. And I went for Rapid Spin, increased my speed, and also got rid of the spikes and the Stealth Rock that was put on the field too. So I thought that might be, more useful. So Dragonite also has leftovers too, but it doesn't quite have its multi-scale back if it, does have it. I actually outspeed here. I definitely knew they didn't expect that, and Dragonite is going to faint. So they probably just thought, I'm going to outspeed anyway. It's slow even after a Rapid Spin. So I took Dragonite out, which is really, really awesome. In comes Regieleki. There was no way I was ever going to outspeed that, and that's the end of the Avalugg Hisuian. But it's fine, it's fine. Next Pokemon we got here is Steve the Lucario. Let me explain this set. I didn't get to explain it last time. So it was Vacuum Wave, Bullet Punch, Extreme Speed. So all priority moves, and it's like a completely mixed set too. Work Up as the last move. So we've got Staffberry as the item, Inner Focus as the ability, Max Health, 136 in attack, and 108 in special attack. So a bulky mix set. It was actually pretty fun to use, and it was brave nature because I didn't need to worry about, increasing my speed at all because I had all priority moves. Unfortunately, Regieleki is going to paralyze me and it's going to faint me, but it is what it is. I was happy still to get around some of those other Pokemon. So now we're going to go into Chicken Jockey, and we're going to see if we can get the Trick Room going and see if we can finish this battle off with a W. So I've got Trick Room and I've got Double Kick. I thought Double Kick would do some pretty good damage to the next Pokemon. So we're going to set that Trick Room up there. Double Kick was good for Steel types. Glacial Lance obviously is a great move, and Pound is just to troll someone, right? As well as Double Kick, I had to nerf this Calyrex a little bit, right? So we got the Trick Room up. Let's go for Glacial Lance. I really had to finish off this Regieleki. I couldn't play any games there. And that's the end of Regieleki. Also wanted to get my +1 in attack too. Last Pokemon is going to be the King Toilet. And I got that Double Kick. And I was like, Double Kick is going to do some really good damage here. We're going to go for that Double Kick. There's the first one, and there's the second one. Right off the toilet, and that is a W. So I hope you guys enjoyed this second battle with the Minecraft movie team. That this Calyrex was getting some W's for me. Their name is Yes as well. That was a random trainer name. Let's get on to battle number 3 here. This is also a random battle I had straight after. This one is against, I think it was Quinton, and we have a Spidops lead. So I had a feeling they'd probably go Spidops lead to set the sticky web up, and I went with the Avalugg as a start. So I thought, I can attack them, get some damage, I may even flinch them, and then I can rapid spin the sticky web away, which they're obviously going to set up. However, they got flinched, so they're not going to let their Spidops go that easily, and they're going to go into Majana, right? So this generally has shift gear or a powerful special attacking move. Like in this case, they'd only need a steel type move to get rid of my Avalugg, being 4 times weak to it. Now I'm going to go for Iron Head because I thought that's my best attacking move. I need to get some damage on this Pokemon. I also have Sturdy as well, so that's going to allow me to get some more damage off. And I was thinking to myself here, maybe I should keep this alive. After I take this hit, it might be a good idea to keep this alive because I know I can outspeed that Spidops, right? And then Spidops, I can just use Rapid Spin again. That was my idea anyway. So I didn't want to let them faint me there, obviously due to its ability as well. We're going to go into the Piglins, which is the Emboar. We got Aura Sphere here. I'm trying to remember what I did for the first initial Minecraft team. I can't believe it was like 9 years ago. Anyway, they're going to swap out Majana, obviously not liking the Emboar, and in comes Rotom Wash. So this is a pretty strong team. This one, very competitive team. So we got Fire Blast missing, which didn't really matter all that much, except I did get a Blunder Policy, which allowed me to outspeed it. So now, this Emboar set too, I actually got an Emboar sweep with this set. Would you guys like to see this special Emboar sweep? Let me know in the comment section. It was pretty funny. So I went for a focus miss and I got a fat critical hit, and Rotom Wash is going to go for a standard Hydro Pump there and faint me. So not really much of a surprise there. Ember is going to faint, but really, really good. I got to take Rotom down to that sort of level of health too, because I was quite weak to this Pokemon. Like my team was very weak to water when you think about it. Like 1, 2, 3, like 4 of my team that were very, very weak to water. So we've got the Cario. I think they know I'm going to go for a priority move here, but there's not a lot of point them swapping Rotom out now. So that's the end of Rotom. I went for Vacuum Wave because I wanted to not show off my entire set. So I figured they'd probably swap in Spidops here. Spidops had a reasonable chance of living a extreme speed and a bullet punch too, because it's got some reasonable base defense. So I thought, I'm going to swap Lucario out. I'm going to go into Avalugg now. I know that I've got 1 health left, but I definitely know they're going to go for Sticky Web. They're going to really, really want that. The worst thing they could have done there maybe would have been Circle Throw, but I sort of took the risk because I had a feeling they'd definitely do that. So I'm going to go for Rapid Spin here. Now, they did have a Ghost Pokemon on their team, which worried me a little bit, but I thought I'll have to try and go for it anyway. So I cleared the Sticky Web off the field, and then they went for Toxic Spikes. Like, okay. Now I'm thinking you're probably definitely going to go into the Ghost type now. That's like this Pokemon was the best counter. Like Goldengo, this was the best counter to my team. It was such an easy counter to my team. So anyone that used Goldengo against me in a battle had a huge advantage already, because I think it could literally take out most of my team except for Emboar. And that was it. Like, all the other, like, Lucario as well, like, Calyrex, like, every Pokemon was defeated by it. Like, easy peasy, right? The opponent didn't have to work much. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. So I've got the Lycanroc, but as you know, it's a speedy set with the sand, but it doesn't have any initial speed, and it's got max health and max special attack. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to live a Make It Rain or a Flash Cannon at all. So what should I do? Should I go for Terra Ground? I didn't really want to Terra Ground this because it's an awful set. Let's be real, it's a special Lycanroc. I didn't want to waste my Terra at this point. So I thought maybe they'll try and set up they might try and set up a nasty plot here. We'll see what happens. Then they swapped out. It's like, okay, they're probably expecting, the Earth Power again or something. So they're just going to sack off their Spidops, which is fair because Spidops was pretty much dead weight for them, except for that, Toxic Spikes they managed to set up at the last moment. So that's the end of Spidops. That really was never a threat. I knew what they were going to do with that at the start. Next Pokemon is Glimmora. So they've got another one here. So they've got lots of ways of setting up entry hazards. So they've got, obviously they're going to try and get a Stealth Rock up here. So I've got Earth Power on this. I thought that's a great idea, but I knew they could have Earth Power as well. So that's the end of Lycanroc. Not much I could have done there. It's a terrible set. So Lycanroc's down. So I was thinking, what are we going to bring in here? Let's bring in the Nose Pass, right? Because Nose Pass does have Sand Tomb. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do lots of damage, but I might be able to get a bit of damage on it with Protect and Sand Tomb combination. So I'm going to set that Sand Tomb up, and I actually lived the Earth Power pretty well, considering. Obviously, the Everlight and the EVs I put into special defense were helping me there. So Glimmerora's going to get, they're going to get another layer of Toxic up there, Toxic Spikes. There's not much I can do about that. Well, with the Rapid Spinner gone, I mean, I don't think that there wasn't much I could do anyway. So Nose Pass is getting some good damage here. I kind of want to put this into a range where I can feint it. I'm like, what's the Lucario going to do to it? The Lucario can't do much, right? Extreme Speed's going to do not much. Vacuum Wave's going to do donkeys, Bullet Punch. Yeah, I don't think that's going to feint either. Lucario is also Stellar Terra too, if I did mention that. So Sand Tomb's actually putting some pretty good work in here against Glimmora. I tried to protect as many times as possible. There was no point doing body press. And they're just going to click the A button and take out Nose Pass, which was, pretty easy there. But I got some good damage on Glimmora. I was happy with that. So I thought, all right, let's try and go into Calyrex here. Now, the bad thing was there was Toxic Spikes on the field. If I could have got around this Glimmora without the Toxic Spikes, I was pretty confident I could beat them easily from here. But now it's like dicey, right? I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do this, right? That Gold Dingo is still Gold Dingo completely countered my Calyrex. I had Pound and Double Kick. And I also had to take a powerful attacking move there from Glimmora before I set the trigger up. So things were not looking very good here. So Glimmora is going to be able to live every one of my attacks except for Glacial Lance, right? So I reckon I've got about, 2 to 3 turns left in me here. They're going to swap the Glimmora out. And I was like, all right, are they going to go into Majana? What are they going to do here? Are they expecting a ground-type move? They might go into Staraptor. Thank goodness they did go into Staraptor because I went for Glacial Lance and took them out. So that was really, really good. They're probably expecting me to have a competitive set, but obviously I'm not. I got a meme set. So that's good. I got a +1 there, but I needed it, right? So in comes Majana. Basically what they're doing here is they're sacking off their Pokemon that are on low amounts of health. And they're trying to let me die to the poison. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go for Double Kick here because I'm worried Pound won't kill. So I went for that Double Kick. I low-key wanted to show them it was like a really crappy, Calyrex set too. Next Pokemon is going to be Glimmora. I was like, all right, I can't help myself. All I've got left is Lucario. Lucario cannot do anything to Gold Dingo, right? I can't do anything. Gold Dingo is an easy counter on my team, but before I feint here, I'm going to go for Terra Normal Calyrex, and we're going to feint this Glimmora with Pound, right? I'm determined to do that, or determined to try. So we got +2 in attack. We got that Terra Normal as well. what I was gonna do is I was gonna spring on Terra Normal against the Goldengo if I wasn't poisoned, and that was gonna be my way of getting around it. And I thought it was a pretty good plan as well. Glimora faints to a pound only on Pimnite Shadow. Look how well this team is doing. So we got a +1 at an attack there, but you know it's the end of Calyrex. It's gonna fall off. It's gonna fall off the chicken, you know. So that's the end of the Calyrex, but a solid performance there. So all I've got left out is the fully priority Lucario, which kind of hits like a wet paper bag, and we've got a Goldengo here. So I thought, well, they'll probably just go for Shadow Ball here. That's, you know, a general Goldengo set. And they might have Terra Ghost. They might have. I knew they weren't going to go Terra Steel. I was like, are they going to go Ghost, or is it defensive like Water? But they got Fighting. So I'm like, oh, okay. That's actually fine because I can land moves against them. So I'm going to go for Extreme Speed. I actually just wanted to show them what all my moves were as well. So they went for Focus Blast. That definitely should have fainted my Lucario. And that is the end of the Trick Room. It's gone now. So it's like, all right. I'll just show them all my moves. My other move I didn't show that was Bullet Punch. I just wanted to show them I had nothing to hit the Goldengo. So Goldengo's going to press the A button, and that's the end of Lucario. But that is the end of the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Man, like, how well did that meme team do though? There was some great counters there to my team. Like, as I said though, anyone that brought a Goldengo usually 99% of the time won the battle because it was just such a good counter, right? Next battle here, we have another random battle, and we've got a Zekrom lead. If you are enjoying the video so far, make sure you hit that like button. Tell me give me a comment in the comment section. Like, what do you think? Have you seen the Minecraft movie? What do you think of the Minecraft game? Any other comments are welcome. So we got a Zekrom using Flash Cannon. It's like, ooh, that's interesting. Good thing I had that sand set up, right? So I was able to take that pretty nicely. So this was sort of similar to that, you know, the Gengar matchups that I have. Like, every time this special Lycanroc would destroy Gengars every single time. So we got that special attack boost from Snarl, dropped the special attack of the Zekrom. Zekrom's going to go for a Flash Cannon again here, but it's not going to do very much damage. So Zekrom does have a lot of base health though, and you know, natural bolters. So I was like, it is special Lycanroc. Will Earth Power be enough? Even with a +1, it simply wasn't enough. That was a pretty good effort. I think it's got like, Lycanroc has 55 base special attack, so it did really well. The amount I squeezed absolutely everything I could out of it, right? Next Pokemon is Steve, so we can just finish off, you know, with any priority move as well. A lot of the time, what I tried to do too, I would sometimes try and set up against the opponent, or I would just finish them off with Extreme Speed, try and make the opponent think I just have like a standard set. And other times I'd try and set the workups up because, you know, the sand was quite good on some of my Pokemon. I wouldn't take any damage and stuff like that. So I've got a workup going, and Zekrom was going to fate to sand. So that worked out pretty nicely. Now, this was Stellar Lucario, right? And then we had a family feud, right? It was a normal Lucario versus a shiny. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for this, baby. We got that Vacuum Wave. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this because, I mean, it's a very, very weak move, you know, Vacuum Wave. So I thought I probably need a Stellar to do some stellar damage, right? So we're going to go for that Stellar Lucario. It's pretty cool because it gets some nice priority moves too. So we're going to go for Vacuum Wave, outspeeding the opposing Lucario, hitting it with everything, and I dropped it. I was like, nice. That was awesome. So bye-bye Lucario. I showed them who is the most powerful Lucario. That only had 108 in special attack too, so it wasn't even max special attack. In comes Sparkly. They got that Sparkly Latios. Latios. This is definitely going to outspeed me. It's got some very, very good speed, so I'm going to go for Extreme Speed, most powerful move there. They're going to go for Aerial Waves. I'm like, what? So Staffberry actually activates him, like, please give me an attack boost or a special attack boost, and I got a freaking special defense boost. I don't know how many times that happened, right? When I use Staffberry, I always get like the stat that I don't want. It's so salty, but it is fun to use. Like, you know, that one time it'll really go your way. So Latios is going to go down to a Bullet Punch there. So bye-bye Latios. So that's pretty good. I was expecting like just a cover, you know, some sort of coverage, even like a Psychic or something. In comes Azura. I don't even... Is that a nickname or is that another language? Does someone know that? I went for Bullet Punch here. They're going to go for a Lava Plume. So that's the end of the Lucario. So maybe like a bulky set. Definitely, it wasn't weak. Obviously, it wasn't weak armor. So that is the end of the Lucario, which is fine. It did pretty nicely. We're going to bring in the crafting table here. We're going to see if we can craft up some salt, you know. So we got our Rock Slide. I can't use Rapid Spin. Here comes the Timmy Terra. So like, what would you be using? Would it be Terra Fire? Would it be Terra Fighting? And it's going to be Terra Fire. So I'm like, yeah, a Terra Fire Lava Plume. That is really going to hurt. So I do have a Salt Vest though. That was my only, only saving grace. So I lived that actually a lot better than what I thought. No burns or anything, and Sarah Leach is going to go down like a sack of potatoes. So that's good. That was very good because Avalugg, it's known for not having good special defense. It's got nice attack and nice health and nice defense, but. Its defense, its speed and special defense are just horrendous, right? So in comes the Greninja. I have a feeling, any water type move at this stage is going to faint me. So I thought, look, I don't really want to swap out in case I overprotect there and go to another Pokemon. Let's see what they're going to do. So they went for Water Shuriken. I actually managed to live that only because it was 2 hits. And I managed to get a Rock Slide off against the Greninja. And I did some solid damage there. I think, Avalugg Hisuian is actually, I actually quite like it. It's a good Pokemon. If it only had a bit more speed, it would be a pretty fierce physical attacker because it's got the stats for it, So that's the end of Avalugg. Wasn't much of a surprise there. So I'm going to go into the Calyrex. I thought, this is perfect. I can go for a pound, right? So I got all my abilities and stuff popped up there for 10 minutes. I can go for a Trick Room here, and then I can go for a pound, right? And it'll be a raw pound too, without Terra Normal, right? So, this stage here, what I was trying to do, you're probably like, why am I on the run button for? I was like, I was trying to get a good shot of Calyrex on its horse. I was trying to remove, how the UI goes over everything? This is why I was doing this. I wasn't running away from this battle either. I'm probably going to get roasted for that, but I actually wasn't running away from this battle. This person's probably wondering what I was doing too. So I was trying to get some good shots of Calyrex there for thumbnail and stuff like that. So that's why I was over the run button. I was also contemplating my pounding victory. So I got that, I got double kick and I got pound. They're going to go for Water Shuriken again. That's not going to do a lot. Calyrex has, Calyrex Ice Rider's got some very good bulk. This was just max health and max attack. Brave Nature, straight up, right? The item was Room Service as well. I initially had Silk Scarf, but then there was a couple of moments where I got outsped in Trick Room. There was opposing ones of Calyrex and some other ones too. So I decided, since my team was not very good, I did need I needed a carry. If I needed a bit of a carry with this, it was better to have Room Service just to be, 100% certain. So Greninja faints and their Switch also faints. That's a salty rage quit. Double kick Calyrex. It was just too strong, Guys, I need to retire this pound and double kick Calyrex. It's way too strong, right? All right, now this was an interesting battle. I want to know if this person is a viewer on my channel, right? I did a random battle and they led with an Orthworm called Smurf Slong, right? And that's the name I call my Orthworm. So is this a Pip Night viewer? I don't know, but I battled them randomly yesterday, right? So Orthworm's going to get dropped by a special Emboar, only on Pip Night's channel, and that's a pretty good start. Next Pokemon here we have is Galvantula. I have no idea what that's going to use. Definitely not Sticky Web, right? So I thought for a second, if I go for Focus Miss here, I could get a Blunder Policy up, and then I could outspeed them and go for Fire Blast. But the Galvantula is going to go for Thunder Wave instead, which was interesting. So all right, that's interesting. So I went for Focus Blast anyway, and of course it landed, right? It still did very good damage, though, to Galvantula. So I was thinking, well, since I am paralyzed, I may as well just go for Fire Blast because there's not a lot of Pokemon I'm going to outspeed at this point. So Emboar's going to go for Fire Blast, and that's 2 Pokemon down. So a pretty good start to the battle, actually. So I think their Orthworm is going to try and pass off a Shed Tail, and their Galvantula is going to set up the Sticky Web. So out comes the Dunsparce. That name is absolutely disgusting. I do not want to hear about that in the comment section, all right? All right? No comments about this. All right, I'll be looking. All right, so we got this Calm Mind. Oh, look at the tail. Oh, look at the tail. Oh, no. All right, so we're going to go, we're going to try and get that Focus Blast going, right? So Focus Blast is going to miss. And I got the speed. So like, ooh, I might be able to land this attack now. So I outspeed the Dunsparce. Not that that's very hard to do. Look at the sweet damage that I did there. So they're trying to set those Calm Minds up. They're trying to get a sweep, obviously. And they set a second one up. So I thought, well, I'm not going to go for Fire Blast, even Focus Blast. I'm just going to go for Scald. Scald is 100% accurate, and also I like how it fires out of like the boiling water fires out of Emboar's hand. Looks awesome. So that's half of an Emboar sweep only on Pimnine's channel, right? Next Pokemon is going to be Meloetta. I was like, okay, this is pretty bulky on the special side. This also has Terra Dark as well, and I really hadn't got to do Terra Dark a lot on Emboar because I didn't really need it. It was more for like Terra Dark was the suggestion, I think, because the the piglins can go angry. I think that's it. You know, when you attack them, or can't you steal their gold? I don't know enough about the game, right? Anyway, so we got that Terra Blast. Terra Blast is coming for Meloetta. Great damage there. Really, really good. I thought they may use Psychic, you know, and then I could get around them. So it seems they've got leftovers as their item. I was like, well, it's only going to take one hit here to actually fate them. Now they're going to go for Relic Song. Relic Song does a pretty good chunk of damage there, and I can't be put to sleep. However, they're going to swap and transform into the Pirouette form, and I got paralyzed there. So, like, well, that's going to be the end of my sweep now. I could have got a sweep against that, but you know, it's going to be paralyzed. So I know that it's going to have a fighting type move, right? And now they're going to go for close combat. So as you know, this team was very, very weak to fighting, right? And if it was a real, like, fast fighting type Pokemon, it was hard to even win. Like, it was hard to even stay in the battle. I'd have to sacrifice half my team, right? So this is a bit of a worry. Even though I had a very good lead at this point, this is a very, very easy counter of my team. So I'm like, all right, what I've got to do here, I've got to try and take this out with Lucario. The way I can do that is by sacking a few Pokemon that aren't very good. So I was like, let's give the Lycanroc a go here. Hopefully they'll just take the bait and go for close combat. Instead of doing that, they went for Zen Headbutt. So this also has the ability Serene Grace as well. No, flinch me, but fortunately they went for a close combat. That's going to drop their defense and special defense again. So I thought, that's good. I can swap in Lucario, and then I can go for, like, you know, Vacuum. Well, I can go for one of my moves that I've got. I've got, like, extreme speed and stuff like that. So I've got leftovers as the item. I think I mentioned that before. And we're going to bring in Lucario. So this Lucario, as you know, doesn't really hit super hard. It's more bulky, and it relies on, you know, at least one or two workups to do some amazing damage, and even Stellar to back it up. So I've got Vacuum Wave. I thought that's perfect, right? They've got -2 in special attack, special defense, but they swapped. It's like, that sucks. And you know what Pokemon they had? They had Goldengo. So I had two of the best counters to this team: a speedy fighting type and a Goldengo. That they were such great counters to this team. So I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get around these two Pokemon? They've got two easy counters. What am I going to do? So I thought, all right, we'll try and go into Nose Pass here and see what, you know, see what happens here. So we're going to just see what move they're going to use, and they're going to go for Nasty Plot. Like, this is very bad. So I'm not going to be able to take a Flash Cannon very well. And all I can really do is say to him. Then they swapped out. I was like, I think they think that I've got Sturdy, right? So they swapped out. They were very, very protective of their Goldengo because they knew it was an easy counter for my team, right? It was just basically, it was a win condition for them having that Goldengo, like the previous battle. So then they brought in the Jirachi. So Jirachi is going to get hit by the Stand Tomb, which is really good because I know this will just be Iron Head flinch spam, right? Most of their sets were pretty standard and easy to guess. So here comes the Iron Head, and with Serene Grace, that's going to be very bad. In fact, they've got 3 Serene Grace users on their team. So they've got the Jirachi, they've got Meloetta, and the Dunsparce, right? So I thought about this. Maybe I can live Iron Head pretty well and go for Body Press there. Unfortunately, I got flinched, so that body press would have done some really, really good damage to Jirachi. Possibly put it down to a lower amount of health to die to Santoon. Plus, they couldn't swap out either. So, Nosepass should have won that matchup, but unfortunately, it did not. So, I'm going to have to try and use as many protects here as I can on the Jirachi, you know. And I know it's got it'll have other flinching moves and stuff like that too. So I tried to protect as much as possible, but in the end, Nosepass is going to faint here. But it did a very good job there. It was able to tank, a very, very powerful move. So that's the end of Nosepass. I thought, all right, well, I've got my Calyrex here. If I can manage to get some attack boost, I might be able to hit the Goldengo. Even with even a not very effective Glacial Lance, should be a 2-hit KO after I get a +1. So I tried to confuse them here. I'm like, they don't know what moves I've got here. So let's see. They're going to go for Iron Head. If they flinched me here, it was all over. But they didn't. Thank goodness. Because that would have been really boring if they flinched me there. So this was interesting, right? It's like, all right, I've got a chance here. At least I've got somewhat of a chance. So I've got that Trick Room up. Now I've got Double Kick and I've got Glacial Lance. I was like, I have to go for Glacial Lance if the Goldengo comes in. Or they may just keep Jirachi in. But they swapped the Jirachi. Yeah, I was like, okay. They're going to go into Goldengo, which is good. It's like that's free damage against a Pokemon that fully counters me. Plus, they had Air Balloon didn't really matter at all because I had no ground moves outside of Nosepass and Lycanroc. So free damage on Goldengo is good. I was happy with that. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to go for it again, right? But they swapped out. So maybe they think that I've got a move to hit the Goldengo now. I wasn't 100% sure. So they just swapped in their Jirachi. I just went for my Glacial Lance again, because that was the only move I could really do that, hit both of those Pokemon. So Jirachi is down. So we're going to get that +1 at attack, which is really good. Now, Goldengo is actually in range, possibly to take out. Is like, if I can get big damage against this, like a high roll, and it lives on 1 health, so, and they got to recover off. So like, man, I just can't get the right amount of luck here at the moment. So now what they're trying to do, they're stalling out my Trick Room. And they were very, very lucky to live that. Now Meloetta's going to come in, but that wasn't really a threat under the Trick Room. Plus their form had reverted back to the normal form, so it wasn't that fighting one anymore. So Meloetta's down. That's another Pokemon down, which is fine. So we've got this Goldengo and Jirachi left, and that's pretty much it. But as you know, my Trick Room turns were, they were running thin. And unfortunately, they ran out and Goldengo just pressed the A button there with Shadow Ball. So that's the end of Calyrex. So all I've got left now is Lucario. So as you know, Lucario, it can't do... And I've still got my Avalugg left. So I have Avalugg and Lucario. But look at my moveset for the Avalugg run. I had nothing to hit this with. Nothing. Everything was not very effective. So what I was, like the first battle when I was versing Goldengo, I was hoping they'd go into a Terra that I at least could hit them for neutral damage. And they went for Water. So I'm like, that's a common defensive Terra for Goldengo. So, for fire moves and stuff like that. So they're going to go for Recover. They're going to keep spamming Recover. They shouldn't even have any health left, right? And now we're going to go for Mountain Gale. So after seeing that Terra, I thought to myself, maybe I can outspeed this Goldengo. However, remember, there was a sticky web on the field as well, so I thought, I'm going to need at least 3 rapid spins to outspeed them. I'd only need 2 if there wasn't a sticky web because I'm running Jollies, and I thought maybe I could try and flinch them then, Also, I could get rid of that sticky web for, Lucario, but unfortunately, I already took the sticky web drop there of 0.67. So they're going to go for the Flash Cannon, just a typical set of Goldengo. And I went for another rapid spin here. So I was like, okay, I've got 2 rapid spins, but I was still very aware. I was like, I doubt I'm going to outspeed it, right? I'm sure they've got max speed, and they do have max speed. So they managed to outspeed there, and I went for a Rock Slide. So my hopes at trying to flinch them, and get them on a low amount of health were sort of, they were sort of shot there. So all I've got left is Lucario. Lucario, as you know, only has extreme speed to really do much damage. And it's going to do nothing, right? I'm not even max health, and they can just press the A button there. But I was very unlucky there. I had a very good start with Special Emboar, but virtually they pretty much only won there because they had Goldengo. But anyway, GG. Let's get on to battle number 6. We've got 7 battles today. But if that was one of my viewers there, let me know, because there's no way. There's that Orthworm name, right? Okay, so we got a 7 battles today, so I've still got one more, and we got a Rhyperior League. So Rhyperior is going to be ripe for a nice little Earth Power, but you know, since it's coming from Lycanroc, a special Lycanroc, it does trash damage. Rhyperior had a red card as well, so I was forced to swap into my Avalugg. Like, this is not a very good matchup. They went for a reversal. Now, that would have been bad if I did more damage to Rhyperior. Thankfully, I didn't. Then I went for Mountain Gale and it missed. I was like, oh, come on. So now they're going to go for a Rock Wrecker. Yeah, I'm not going to live that one. No way. So that's the end of the crafting. The crafting table exploded, you know. A creeper came along and went boom. So we're going to go to Dennis now. I went for Snarl, so I thought I'll boost up my special attack. I've got a chance, right? Because Rock Wrecker is going to be a turn of recharge, and then I can go for Earth Power and you know, take Rhyperior out. That was my plan anyway. So we got that. I'll try and look for some Minecraft music to put in today's video, but I don't know, man. I think it's mainly like peaceful music, I think. So that's the end of Rhyperior. We've got an Arceus as the next Pokemon, a Shining Arceus. So Earth Power does about what I expected it to do, which is virtually nothing. Watch this, right? They used Seismic Toss and they had Life Orb. So they had that Seismic Toss, Life Orb, Shiny Arceus, only on Pidgeot Shell. Then they went for a Future Sight. I'm like, what is this Herba Mystical Arceus there? So I'm just going for Earth Power. I never should have won that match. I want to know what the rest of those moves are. I've got to do that. Seismic Toss, Life Orb. Next Pokemon is another Hackmon like the Rhyperior. I'm just going to go for Earth Power and send that one to the moon, right, where all the other little .com Pokemons are. Suddenly half the team is gone. Oh, look, another one. They just keep coming today. So Greninja is going to go for a Hydro Miss, and that's going to land, and that's the end of Lycanroc. It was okay, though. I had a pretty good start to this battle. I wasn't concerned. So then we brought in Lucario. I was thinking to myself, I'll go for Worker, and then I'll go for Vacuum Wave. This should be, you know, this should do a lot of damage to Greninja. And since I had some bulk from health, I was able to live that Hydro Pump pretty nice. So I went for the Vacuum Wave. It just lives. And then they had another red card. I was like, oh no. Because you know they were probably going to go for Hydro Pump again. And guess who swaps in? Emboar. I'm like, oh, come on. So the Emboar is going to take the full load right in the face or in the stomach, and that's the end of Emboar, right? So this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. So it's time for Chicken Jockey, right? So we got to set that Trick Room up. We got to see if we can get a W with Pound, right? So Night Slash actually does a pretty good amount of damage. I just went for a Pound, and Greninja is down. So excellent damage there. In comes in the Micro Haxorus. And it's going to go for a Crunch, which does nothing. They got that modest Haxorus, right? So I'm going to set up the Trick Room here, and Trick Room is going to allow my Calyrex to go first. So I thought, well, I've got the room service up now. Maybe this will be a good time to go for Terra Normal and Pound. Like, this is going to do some good damage because it is neutral to Haxorus, and it's got the Terra Normal as well. So I'm expecting amazing things here. Also, any of its moves won't be super effective. So Pound is going to take out the Haxorus. And we got one more Pokemon left, and it's another one. Come on, bro. And it's a Charizard. I'm like, all right, it's time for me to send a message to these .com Pokemon. So here comes the little Timmy Terra, and I was like, what's it going to be? Dragon these nuts, fire, and it was fire. So I'm like, that fire's no worries. The only thing I was worried about was maybe Ghost, and I just went for a Pound, and I took Shiny Charizard out with a Pound only on Pimnice Channel, and that is the end of the battle. This Pound Calyrex is way too broken, guys. I don't want to use this again, you know. It's just, you know, such a powerful Pokemon. So that's the end of Ash. She retired from the anime after that battle. All right, let's get on to battle number 7. This is our final battle. This one is again a random battle against Dash, and this is Deja Vu, right? We have a Gengar lead. So this actually tracked pretty much the same as the very first, pretty much every encounter I had against a Gengar lead, I would typically always win. So Gengar's going to use obviously a Shadow Ball there, did 3/4 of my health, so a little bit more damage than last time. So I'm going to set the Sandstorm up. That's going to give me some extra bulk. It's also going to break any, maybe there's a Focus Sash there or whatever. Now I can go for Snarl, drop the special attack, and then go for the Earth Power. Pretty much what I did last time, you know. That's going to be really, really good. So that extra 1.5 boost in special defense and the Snarl special attack drop actually allowed me to live Gengar's stab Shadow Ball. Look at that. Perfect, right? So the perfect counter for these Gengars. And I'm going to go for Earthbound and just finish it off. So we're going to go for that, and that is the end of the Gengar. So it's funny that you wouldn't believe the amount of times that happened. Like, there was 2 instances in this video, but I reckon it happened like 5 or 6 times. So next Pokemon's Greninja. I was like, yeah, they got Water Shurikens. It was very similar to some other battles. They just come in and use a priority move, but it's fine, right? I was happy with that. Greninja's going to take a little bit of damage there by the Sandstorm too. Oh wait, this is a Battle Bond Greninja too, so they got some boosts. So like, yeah, this is bad. So they got an attack, special attack, and speed boost. I needed to fake this Pokemon, right? I really needed to fake this quick. So we're gonna go into Lucario. I was like, I'm gonna need to hit this pretty hard, you know. So I've got that workup. I was thinking like Vacuum Wave, Stellar Vacuum Wave again to get around it. I don't know. I was like, do I want to use my Stellar though? Like, do I really want to do that? So I'm gonna bring in Lucario. As I said, I've got like some extra bulk here, and they got a bit unlucky there. They only got 2 hits, and I got some good damage against them. So that's the end of the Sandstorm. The Vacuum Wave is 2 hits here. I can fake them in 2 hits. Like, do they have any other moves than Water Shuriken? I don't know. Maybe they've got like, I didn't see their items, so maybe they had something like King's Rock or or whatever. They certainly didn't have loaded dice. So they managed to get 4 hits against me. The last one was a crit. Then my Staffberry popped and I got a speed boost. Like, it's probably not that handy unless I was versing another Pokemon that we were both using priority moves, and that would probably be the only good use for it. But anyway, Greninja is down, and then we got Noivern coming in here, so you don't get to see Noivern very much, which is cool. Extreme Speed does as much damage as I expected, and they're gonna go for Boom Burst. Like, all right, it's a Throat Spray Boom Burst set, fair enough. This Pokemon's got a lot of speed. So I need to hit this pretty hard, and I'm sure it's got something like a dragon, Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor or something like that. So I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bait the hook, and I'm going to feint this Pokemon because it's going to be pretty fast and it's going to hit pretty hard. So here comes the Draco Meteor. We got that sturdy. I know that I can feint this Noivern easy. I was actually toying about doing Rapid Spin, but I thought, nah, I need 2 to outspeed, maybe 3, So I just went for the Mountain Gale, and that's the end of Noivern there. So that's fine. That wasn't much of a threat. Then they brought in Urshifu. Now, as I mentioned before, Urshifu was both Urshifus were very, very good counters for my teams. I'm like, what am I going to do? Then they got a free Trail Blaze, so absolutely none of my Pokemon are going to outspeed this now. So there was really only one Pokemon which could stand up to Urshifu, which is Nose Pass, right? And this is my terrifying Nose Pass. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to have to Terra Nose Pass. I got no choice. When your GOAT Pokemon is a Nose Pass, you know that you've got problems, right? So we got that terrifying Nose Pass, the absolute unit. Like, the fist is as big as the Nose Pass. Here comes a Wicked Blow. That's going to not do very wicked damage at all. And I can go for Body Press, right? Now, Body Press is like, this is going to do a lot of damage. It is, right? And they just live there. I don't know if that was minimum damage enough. Even after unloading a close combat, Nose Pass just tanks it every day. And we're going to beat the Urshifu there. So excellent. So Nose Pass did really, really well there. It was great for those Pokemon that had a clean advantage. The only thing it couldn't do much was as I mentioned, was Gold Dingo. It was wall by that. So next Pokemon's going to, and Ghost Pokemon are rough, right? So in comes Ceruledge. They had a very, very easy soft swap in here against me. All I could do was go for Pain Split, which was good, right? If they did have a Focus Sash and things like that. They're just going to press the A button and go for the Bitter Blade. So that is the end of Nose Pass. That definitely is. I was like, man, that did a lot of damage. Even I might have lived that normally, but it also was Stab, and it also had the Life Orb as the item on top of that too. So that was doing some crazy damage. Like, no wonder, right? So I brought in my Emboar. I really have not a lot to hit this with, and it's going to press A again with close combat. So it's like, all right, last Pokemon I've got here is the Calyrex. And Calyrex, as you know, is going to be weak to that, and it's also going to be weak to close combat as well. So there wasn't a lot I could do here. They pretty much had a win condition Pokemon. Their last Pokemon they couldn't do anything with, so they pretty much had to rely on the Pokemon that countered my entire team. But anyway, a cool battle there. I hope you guys enjoyed. This team did really, really well. I was super impressed with it. Peace out, people.